time to strap our boots on. This is a perfect day to die. Wipe the blood out of our eyes. In this life there's no surrender, and there's nothing left for us to do. Find the strength to see this through. We are the ones who will never be broken. With our final breath, we'll fight to the death. We are soldiers.
Hey everybody, it's Daphne here with Laura Entertainment. We are sitting down with retired Army veteran, Donald Comer. Did I say your name right? Last name?
Yes. Yep, come on, yep.
Feel free. You just
No, you're fine, you said it perfect.
Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Sitting out here at football practice at the moment, but everything is good. Yeah,
Yeah? Football practice, huh?
yeah. 6 and 8-year-old.
That sounds like fun. Gonna be out there.
First years. Uh,
You gonna go play?
no, no. I tried to coach, but I got a little bit too much shit going on already, so
Yeah.
we'll see if next year slows down any and allows time for that.
So tell us about your time in the service. You served in the Army.
I did. I was active duty from '08 to 2012. Stationed at Fort Riley. I was a 88 Mike by MOS, but Cav Scout and a bunch of other things by training in the unit. We were attached to Quarter Cav in the First Infantry Division, which is still the oldest cavalry unit squadron in the U.S. military, most decorated. Um, Went to Iraq in July of 2009. Was there for 11 and a half months. We were at FOB Biker for 35 days while they figured out what to do with this, and then they moved us to FOB Sykes, which is just literally on the city limits of Tal Afar, Iraq, and then our AO was Sinjar to the Syrian border. At that time, we had the largest combined AO for any light cavalry squadron unit ever in the country of Iraq. I want to say it was like 648 square miles, and we had 535 soldiers, counting the SCO, Sergeant Major, and their entourage.
Wow.
Um,
How long was you
we
there for?
we was in Iraq for 11 and a half months. We were pretty fortunate, didn't have any casualties while we were there. Um, it was a good time. I mean, I don't know. It it was like it was a war zone, not during a wartime. I guess we were when we were there. It was Operation Enduring Freedom, so we were pretty much there to assist. We weren't really there to do anything. But like I said, we were there to assist. We trained there. My platoon, we trained some IA supply people on how to resupply units out in sector, how to do move and resupplies, how to build checkpoints, different things like that. Came home and we were slotted to go to Afghanistan in August of 2012. And I was slotted to ETS in August of 2012. And at that time, if you were slotted to ETS within 6 months of your unit deploying, you could either extend for the deployment or they kick you out 90 days early. And my retention, I fought and fought and fought to go to Afghanistan. My retention NCO got my paperwork done 3 days late. and by the time she'd got it submitted, they had already cut me 90 days. So that put me where I was getting out before they were even supposed to be wheels up. So there wasn't anything I could do there. Called some of my connections in Indiana, found a unit here that was slotted to go to Afghanistan in 2013. Joined the National Guard before I even ETS'd off of Fort Riley. Um, Came to Indiana, did everything to go to Afghanistan, and then the state surgeon refused to clear me for deployment. Uh, because midway through my first deployment, I start pissing blood randomly and it's just getting real bad headaches that wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
And they still never really figured out what was wrong, so he wouldn't let me deploy. I made E5 in that time. Called some of my contacts back in Kansas. Found the infantry unit that said they would, the whole state said, everybody said they would clear me, blah blah blah, because they needed bodies that had experience downrange. And Indiana completed my transfer 2 weeks late.
Damn.
By the time my transfer got completed, they was already gone, and they weren't going to send a bird for one guy across the pond. So I got put in a hit unit, and as an E5 with a deployment, and at this time 6 years in service, I got treated like a private fresh out of AIT. Um, got the only negative NCOER I ever got from a guy I never met because I smoked his son for telling an E5 to fuck off. Um, and his daddy was some big wig up at state, I guess. And after that, they told me I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody underneath 6. So I was like, yeah, I can't go to war and I can't train soldiers. I don't need to be here any longer. So I got out.
So they got mad because I mean, my son told me about that. He's deployed right now about getting smoked. And
Hmm.
I always get on to him, which I know that they have to smoke them, but he always messes with this buddies there talking about, he's going to smoke them. I'm like, will you stop picking on these people? You know what I mean? And
Right.
when you're a private and that's what they do, they smoke them all the time. You
Hmm.
get into the stick because they're always fucking with you. you
Yeah.
It's shitty. So you were part of the crew basically that went over and trained all the soldiers over there to be able to defend themselves after the war. You were part of
Yeah,
that.
pretty much. Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were part of the. I won't say the final push because I mean, hell, they were there for another 6 or so years after we came back. Um, but we were that was our main objective while we was there is to have them to where okay, go over by the trees. Um, while we were there was our main objective was to set up resupply points. We built three of the largest checkpoints ever built in country of Iraq. Um, and train their distribution platoon how we functioned.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, we had one rollover while we was there was the only incident we ever had, and that was because somebody moved one barrier a half inch out of the road that we were used to. It was foggy, and my best friend was in my truck with my lieutenant and my gunner, and went to go through and nick the barrier and rolled over. Um, but yeah, I mean, we were like I said, that was our main objective was just to get them established in that region to where they can sustain themselves.
So what made you want to join the army?
Um, I had a child when I was a junior in high school. My oldest son was born. He just got his driver license today. Like went and took his driving test and got his actual driver license today.
Stay off
Um,
the box.
um, but I had him. I was a junior in high school. Um, I was working third shift, getting off of work at a factory, and then going to school. And I once I graduated a semester. Once everybody went on Christmas break, I never had to go back to high school. because I did during the summer and blah blah. And I knew the factory jobs around where I live, they just weren't. That's not what I wanted. I was 18-year-old boy. I had a newborn. His mom at that time was 17. And it's like my parents kicked me out as soon as they found out. So here I am. I'm just kind of which I my whole life I since I was a child I mean, which we'll get into a little bit, but my childhood, I've always had been alone for the most part. So it wasn't really that abnormal for me. At this time, I just I felt like I knew what I had to do, and that was I had to figure out a way to provide for these two humans, that I have to care for one way or the other. Um, and I went Dylan was I mean, hell, he was a baby, and I met my recruiter at his house because it was like a Sunday, and I got a hold of him. I said, "Listen," I said, "if I don't do it today, I'm signing up today. Either you, the Marines, Air Force, whoever is willing to lose their Sunday for me, I'm doing it." And I met him at his house, and like he played with Dylan the whole time I was there doing my stuff. He changed Dylan's poopy diaper while like it was just in. So I joined the army um, for him for my boy really, so he could have insurance, and then that way I knew regardless he was going to have, like I said, insurance. He was going to have a steady income. I didn't realize it was shit steady income, but it was still a steady income. You know, um, so yeah, I joined because of him. So it was more out of a necessity, I guess, at the time. Um, I got out because of him. Well, I got off active duty ultimately because they gave me the option to re-enlist active or not. Like since my ETS was already, I could have ETS'd and then came back in active duty, but I would have lost all my rank and shit. So I was like, yeah, I ain't doing all that.
Yeah.
But Dylan called me. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, bawling his eyes out, begging me to come home. Said, "I need you, Daddy." I'm like, "Dude, I can't. I was in California at NTC when he called me, like, and he was in Indiana." I'm like, "Bub, there's no way." Like, so that was ultimately, even though like I said, I did try to go to Afghanistan 2 more times after that. But it was to me, it was one of the only things I was just naturally good at was being a soldier. Not so much because I wasn't real good with the political side, stateside. But if they could have left me in Iraq or Afghanistan for the whole tenure, I think I would have excelled.
Yeah.
I was good at training soldiers to survive and do the job. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when you're in the army or any branch really and have kids and you got to travel. I mean, it's pretty much like that for any job. You know what I
right,
mean? But you're the first soldier I've had on here that wasn't in the industry that I do. And
right.
in this industry, there's a lot of traveling involved where you're gone for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever, how
Mhm.
sometimes months. It don't, it just depends
Right.
what you're doing. But I mean, when you got kids and then you're there, or they're missing you, or you miss them, or whatever, it's just hard. And then over there, when you're fighting, it's a whole different ball game because you guys are getting shot at or whatever. You don't know. Like
Mhm.
my son got shot over there. And they had just went into town to get supplies, and it was
Right.
ununiformed Russian people that had went into the town, I think, of Budapest, and you're not supposed
Mhm.
to be able to carry any kind of weapons at all in that city, not knives, not nothing. And I found out on Facebook because he was high as hell and put a picture up of him in his bullet hole on Facebook. And I called him immediately after I seen that. And I was like, what the hell happened? And why am I finding this out on Facebook? And he's sitting there with a can of Pringles, smiling from ear to ear, like, oh yeah, these guys shot me. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? you know? And I'm finding out on Facebook, oh, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not. You got a bullet hole in your fucking leg. You know what I mean? And if
Right.
it got him like this far, like they missed his main artery by like that much. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, do you not realize I would have killed you? You know?
Yeah.
And I just and he just re-enlisted for another 6 years.
Hey,
You know, I'm just
I'd have
like,
gone back in. I talked to my wife. Because I'd have gone back in about 5 years ago. I was thinking about it real hard, just because I was struggling mentally and emotionally with myself, and that was the only thing I'd ever felt. The only time I'd ever felt safe in my life was when I was in the military. When I had a group of guys that I knew for a fact, like in a moment's notice, they're gonna pull me. They're gonna make sure. They're gonna do everything they can to make sure every day I get home to my kids, just like they know I'm gonna do everything I can to
mm.
make sure they get home to their kids. Um, and in the civilian world, that's just not really a thing. I've noticed. Um,
You know,
unfortunately,
regardless of being in any military branch or just in regular life, it's like that with just humans, period, anymore. Because
right,
just don't give a shit. They don't have a
right.
heart. And I mean, well, most people, well,
Well, yeah, I 100%
and
agree with that.
they just don't care. They have no
Right.
moral compass, especially the new generation nowadays. They
I
just
mean,
don't care.
I think it's a new. I don't know. It's different. It's all different. I mean, but when you were 18, the people that were 40 and 50 and 30 were looking at you like, oh, this new generation, they're fucking off their rocker. I
Yeah,
know for a fact when
at
I was,
least we
I
had
know,
respect though. We had
I know,
respect
I
still,
mean, that's in the parents though.
you know.
That's the parents issue. That's a parenting issue in my personal opinion.
I've taught respect to my kids, but there are still moments where my kids still want to talk shit and I just want
Oh
to,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
I tell them all the time, you are not going to talk like some of these kids out here
Oh
because
yeah.
when you're over 18, it's not child abuse.
Mhm. No.
Believe
No.
me,
Um,
for real.
but there's still, just like kids are gonna be kids. That's how I look at that. There's a line, and I think sometimes as an older generation, we forget that they're still kids at the end of the day. Like, because it's easy for us, like going back to my mental health journey, like it's easy for me to tell somebody, just do it, just get better, just go to therapy, just talk, just do the steps, just get better, because I already did it. You know what I mean? So I know it works because it helps me tremendously. Um, and it's like kids, or just humans in general. Me, I'm 35. My dad's 70. My dad still looks at me like I do a lot of dumb shit. You know what I mean? I've been on my own for 17 years. And he still, at times, he'll just look at Donald. That was a dumbass thing to do. I'm like, well, maybe you should have. Well, I did try to tell you when you was X, Y, and Z. I'm like, well, Dad, it didn't click when I was X, Y, and Z. So now maybe some of those things need to be refreshed. you know, um, that's just for me. That's kind of a spot where I've come to, like with my teenager, because I mean, it was either me and him. It was either we was gonna end up putting hands on each other. Not because he wasn't disrespectful to me. I mean, he was, just because he did normal teenage shit, lie, sneak around, say he's going here, and then end up here. And I just, that's something I don't lie to him. And I tell him, dude, just be honest with me, like, and he'd get a little testy with my wife, because it's his stepmom, so everybody's got to test the step parents every once in a while.
Mm.
Uh, and I tell him, my two littles, like, you can say whatever the hell you want to me, but you ain't gonna disrespect my wife. Like, they're like, well, she's my mom. I don't give a fuck. She was my wife first. I'm like, yeah, she might be your mom, but I promise I'm going to protect her before I protect you in this situation. You know, and but yeah, so then that pretty much. I mean, my military career. I went to Fort Knox for basic. Um, I went to Fort Leonard Wood for Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for AIT, and then ended up at Fort Riley.
Missouri's boring.
They're all the same.
I lived in Bridgetown years ago. God, I think it was 13. I don't know. It was boring. The only thing there was that arch. I
Oh
thought
yeah, there's one. Yeah.
that was it.
Um, hey, I was at Fort Knox, Kentucky for basic, and when they said you're going to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for AIT, I said, "Where the fuck is Missouri?" Like I didn't even know fucking where Missouri was. You know what I mean? Like I just I try. If you wanted me to go from here to Florida, I could tell you every state. I've been to every one of them. You know, but I'd never been west of Illinois.
Missouri's right there.
I know. And at that point, I couldn't even tell you how to get to Illinois. I knew it was next to Indiana, but I couldn't tell you how to get there. You know what I mean? Like we just never traveled that way. We went. I got family. We went to Tennessee every year for during the summer. We went to Florida for spring break every year. Once I got adopted, you know, like there was a lot, but we never went. There
Yeah.
was no reason to go that way, so I was just like, yeah. And I guess in school you should learn. They're supposed to teach you maps and shit like that, but I wouldn't
State,
listen.
state capital.
Listen,
They still do that in school, right?
I don't have a clue. I don't
You
know what my kids learn.
you really need to find out what your kids are learning.
No, they. I'm sure they do. But like, right? I mean, my youngest is in kindergarten, and then I got my other middle boy's getting ready to go into third grade, and then my oldest, he's going to be a sophomore. My oldest is a sophomore, and he can't tell you the months of the year in order.
Really?
Yeah, he can tell you the months, but not in order. I'm like, dude, how the fuck you're going to be a junior in high school, and you're trying to go to a big ass college. He wants to go to Kansas University, and he wants to try to walk on the football team. I'm like, dude, you might need to know the fucking months if you're going to college. You
Junior.
know, but my two youngest, they can talk T in Mandarin.
Junior.
So
Wow.
it's crazy but I don't know. The way they learn nowadays is so much different than from when I went to school. Like I have to write on the homework sometimes, and I'm excellent at math, and I have to write on. I don't understand this question. I don't know what kind of work you want. I don't understand it.
Right. What the hell? Yeah, I've had that discussion before about the math. It's like they write it out literally, okay? If you're trying to add something, say
Hmm.
1,000 plus 100,
Yeah,
1,100, and then you've got 1,000 plus 900 plus this plus that. Dude,
yeah.
what the hell? Just write the fucking problem. You know what I
And
mean?
you got to
It's
forget. You got to add the subtraction in there too somewhere. Like it's 2 plus 2 is 4, but they got to do 2 plus 6 minus 3. And it's like holy fuck.
right, right.
Uh,
They've got shit so messed up. They just need to stop.
yeah.
Well, stop, stop it. And so, how long have you been married?
We have been fuck. We have been married for
You don't even know. Your wife's gonna smack you.
no, I'm trying to think. We've been together 10.5 years, but we were together for 8 years. So we've been married almost 3 years. We were we were
There's
we were
that.
engaged. We were engaged for like 4 years. I'd already been married twice previously. Um, so I was in no hurry to really get married. Like I wasn't planning on leaving. None of that shit. I'd seen that piece of paper change people. And honestly, I didn't want that to change me and my wife. You know,
Mm.
or at that time she wasn't, but that's what I was scared of. And we didn't. It was so like I said, we got married. I asked her on her birthday. We were engaged for like 4 years, and we were setting in school pickup line on a Thursday. And I looked at her and I said, "You want to get married this weekend?" And Saturday we got married in our friend's living room. We had probably 12 of our closest friends there, our kids. Our friends made cheesecake and they made dinner, and it was perfect. She we spent $200 on the wedding. Like, and she went and got her little dress, and it was perfect for us. Um,
He was like, "Let's
and
do the damn thing."
yeah, I mean, um, yeah, she's a light. She's the light.
Works with you, correct?
Mhm.
She works
You
with don't she
No,
work?
she don't work with me. No, she's stay home mom.
But she take
Yeah.
what does she do? I know that you said, before we were doing the interview that she does some stuff for you.
I
Is
mean, every once in a while, like I got like she'll go and do measurements and things like that. Once the office is open, she's gonna run the store, which we're planning on grand opening of that being September 9th. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, once the store's open, that's gonna be kind of her domain.
Mhm.
Uh, and I'm just to kind of let her get in and out of the house. But she's a stay-home mom. She quit her job when our middle son started school, because we drive them to Batesville for school, which is
That's
about
way,
what
Bates, because I
23 minutes. It's like 23 minutes one way for us.
it's 50, I think it's 40 something miles from here.
Yeah. Um, So, and it was hard for her to like maintain a job and then had to drop kids off by 8 and have be in school line by 2:30 for pickup. So we decided the money she was making wasn't worth a shit education for our kids.
Yeah.
So we moved them up here, and our oldest is one of two in his class that he started football in 8th grade, and since then he's probably averaged over 100 rushing yards a game plus tackles. I mean, he's one of two kids in his class that get college letters every year for football. And he's an honor roll student up here. Like I said, our two youngest are, they can talk to you in Mandarin, they can talk to you in English, all just by us moving them to this school 30 minutes away.
Mandarin's a hard language.
Yeah. They love it.
That's a
They
hard.
absolutely love it.
So why don't you tell everybody what store you own? This is for local people around the
Okay.
tri-state.
So 2022, I started a flooring business installing floors, um, for the Cincinnati metro. Pretty much if you're within 60 miles of Osgood, Indiana, um, and we'll do it. That's pretty well my service area. Then that's the nice thing is we're pretty centrally located between Louisville, Indy, and Cincinnati. But primarily, I work from Osgood to Cincinnati, um, Northern Kentucky. But we're getting ready to open a flooring store in my hometown. There's never been one in the history, as far as me or anybody else knows, um, called Commerce Carpet Plus. And the website is the same, commercecarpetplus.com. And so, yeah, and with that, we are also doing a contest partnering with Venom Magazine, um, where for their Rocktoberfest on October 19th, I believe it is.
Yep. It's
And
on
c-
the website.
and
Laura
and
Entertainment will be there also.
yep. Um, and that contest is going to be given to veterans plus plus a plus one. So 4 tickets, 4 VIP passes, um, to the winners. And with that, you'll get a meet and greet with Rocco from Boondock Saints. a meet and greet with TJ from XO Hour. You get to meet the chief editor, Kelly Severe of Venom Magazine, and then she's got Labyrinth Magazine, and then there's another one that she just released too. I can't remember the name of it, but those are all local models, musicians, and designers. If I'm not mistaken, like she only uses local designers as well.
Yeah.
Um, so that's pretty cool. Then we're gonna have some merch. I got a friend that makes she takes like flannel shirts and then takes vintage rock shirts like Metallica, anything, and she like merges them together to make some pretty badass shirts. So I'm gonna talk. I got her. She's gonna make a couple that we can give out to the contestant winners. Um, so yeah, it should be a good time. There's a bunch of people, bunch of bands gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like I said, the VIP tickets. The
Adema
tickets are
be there. One Day Alive's gonna be there. I'm friends with One Day Alive actually. Adema, I love Adema. They're gonna be there. There's gonna be some other ones that are gonna be there
yeah.
for sure. Rocco, that movie
Oh
is
yeah, that movie's
awesome.
great.
I swear, every time I think of Rocco in that movie, I think of where he killed the cat and she asked about the cat, and he's just like,
Mhm.
I killed your cat, you druggy bitch. Like that.
Yep, yep.
It's like my favorite
Um,
scene, one of my favorite scenes in that movie. I crack up every time I see that.
and then on that too, like it's veteran specific. Family members can nominate veterans, or the veterans can nominate themselves. They can visit comerscarpetplus.com, and there's a whole page there, and it's got the Jolt form for them to enter
That link
automatically.
is on my website too.
Yeah, the link's on Allure, the website, Allure Entertainment website, and it's also on the Rocktober Fest Veterans Contest page on Facebook. Um, the contest is live now. It's going to go until I believe it was September 1st. Um, but and depending on how many entries we got at that time, we might push it out a couple weeks if we need to. Um, so yeah, so hopefully my goal for that is hoping to get at least 50 entries. And if it goes good, and then we're going to try to do more stuff. I also do a veterans disc golf meet and greet once a month around the tri-state. Um, that's also on. We got a Facebook group called Cincinnati Vets and Disc Golf. So that's another thing that I started for vets. Just there for us all to kind of get out, mingle, have fun. It's a bullshit. If you want to have a couple shots with
It's
everybody.
Frisbee golf, right?
Yep, yep. Frisbee
Oh,
golf, disc
you have
golf.
to tell me about that because you didn't even tell me about that. I like that Frisbee golf.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that play that too.
yeah. So that's something that I started that. Let's see. This we got Saturday is the next one. It's at Ottawa in northern Kentucky, Burlington. Is where that one's at. And any vet can come, whether they got disc or not. If they ain't got disc, they can throw out a mine. And the other guys that come, they've opened their bags up to everybody that comes that doesn't have disc either. It's just, honestly, it's like I said, the only time I've ever really felt at ease is when I'm around vets. So it was a way for me to at least once a month just get out and just like not have to worry about shit.
Yeah.
I'm out there and we're having fun. I'm smoking my medicine. The other guys are doing their shots, whatever, smoking their cigars, and we're just laughing, bullshitting. Um, Nothing too serious. But yeah, it's a good time. I'll have to send you the Facebook group link uh, if you would like to share it.
Yeah, I'll post it. I'll definitely put it up. I can also add those links. Well, the contest link I won't add to the soldier resource link, but those other links I can definitely
Yeah.
add to the resource.
Um, and then after later on, I'm gonna try to get you set up with
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that after we
yeah,
log for sure. But I mean, if any links or anything that you know about that is for soldiers or help,
Yeah,
because
that's what I was getting ready to talk to you about.
did you go to the extra page that I have set up for the soldiers where you can see all those links? Like it says
Yeah.
resource, and then you click it, it's one link
Mhm.
and it's multiple. I made
Yep.
that so people don't have to hunt 50,000 links. They click one link, it takes you to everything to do with soldiers. You don't have to
Yep.
worry ads and the bullshit popping up. Just one damn link. That's it.
Yep.
It's awesome. It's
Yep.
completely awesome. I love it. You know what I mean? It's awesome. It's freaking cool.
Um, but yeah, so that I mean that's the military business in a whole. Mental health journey. I can't. That's my big thing when it comes to vets is mental health.
Yeah.
And it it's that one's the one that needs a lot of eyes on it and a lot of voices, honestly. Um, because it's not there's not enough resources out there for civilians that need mental health resources, let alone vets. Um, and a lot of that is because of the VA process and how much red tape there is for physicians that want to work with the VA. That I've figured out over the years of talking with multiple different people about, hey, why don't you come work for the VA? You
Mhm.
know, work for the VA, subcontract for the VA. You know, get some local therapists in these rural areas that are around here contracted with the VA, so we can have help. And every one of them is, yeah, there's too much paperwork, too much red tape. You know, they want things worded their way and only their way, and if it doesn't go towards what they want, then they won't even look at it anyways, and this, that, and the other. So, um, but yeah, that's a big one for me. I know that's a big one for a lot of people. There's too many suicides. Um, luckily, I was not one of those statistics. Um, even though I attempted it, I was lucky enough not to become a number. Um, so I try to tell everybody like you're not alone. There's plenty of us out there that do understand, because that seems to be a common misconception with vets is, nobody understands, nobody understands. Well, I promise I understand. My Facebook's always open. My phone number is available on my business website, my Google page. Like I'm always available for anybody that's a vet that is in need. Um, my dreams with my business are is eventually to get to enough revenue to where I can open a um, halfway house strictly for vets, get them in, give them a job doing flooring so they can learn a trade outside of the military while they're getting sober, or even not necessarily sober, even if they're down, you know, went through a divorce or whatever, lost everything, you know, gambling, whatever it might be. Just you know, a facility that these guys can come in, we can get them the VA resources they need started, plus they can work and learn a trade outside of clearing rooms or, you know, something that they can feed their families on for the rest of their lives. That's my ultimate goal,
Yeah.
with everything.
That's a good goal to have. I mean, seriously, there's a friend of mine in the industry has a program, and we're trying to put the word out there also for that. It's called Onset Soldiers.
Mhm.
What that is they're trying to I think they're in the process of trying to get buildings or something like that. I'm gonna have to talk to him again about that. But they're bringing in veterans and getting them on film sets
Oh, sweet.
where they're learning how to do like gaffing work or grips or anything, any like production or stunts or anything that they're wanting to do, you know
Right.
and it gets them out there, they're learning and making money also, but they're learning.
Learning, yeah.
A lot of military experience, police training, stuff like that is awesome to have in this
Right.
industry. it is awesome to have in this industry because there's always a use for it. I'm going to tell
Yeah,
you now. And he had started that program, and it's really good. And I told
that
him,
is awesome.
I'll help you expand that program.
Yeah,
Any programs like that, you just
yeah,
push them out. You know, that's why they have
right,
people that make donations.
right.
You
And
know,
that's awesome though. That like I love seeing and hearing things like that. Like and it on one side, it's sad that people feel the need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody he felt the need, like there was a need for it. When
veteran.
you
He's
would
a
think
veteran.
like, well, that's what I mean. But even outside of that, you would think as vets, I don't know. You think vets wouldn't have to struggle so much. I didn't expect to have to struggle so much after the military. Um, but it is what it is. That's life.
It's also the government, but we won't go into that right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Such is life.
Don't get me started on that.
Such is
Because
life.
you already called 2 politicians fucking idiots. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, I will go ahead and say that while I'm in this interview about the guy in San Francisco, because that was the other second politician I did want to call out. Posting signs all around San Francisco that if you steal, keep it under $950.
Oh, yeah, 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 I seen that.
About that, what is your
Mm.
opinion on that?
Well, I
Just
don't live in
an opinion.
California.
I mean, a friend of mine sent me a picture that he actually took in San Francisco in front of a Louis Vuitton store.
Yeah,
Said, "Do not, or all stolen goods must remain under $950." Are you fucking kidding me? So it's
yeah.
okay to go. Basically, you're saying it's okay to go steal. Just keep it
But
under.
also, but on the flip side of that, that company has found it more profitable to allow people to steal than to hire a security team.
It's not the company, honey. It's all around the friggin' city. All
But
around
still,
the city.
they could still hire a security team and nobody would steal.
The whole
Like,
city? No, I'm
I
talking
mean, the
the
store.
whole city. The signs are everywhere, not the store. They are
Yeah,
outside on friggin' poles, on the poles outside everywhere.
seriously.
You can still just keep it
It's
under 950. Hey,
it's
Mr. Governor, you're a fucking moron. I'm sorry.
California.
You're even letting people steal. First off, you're stupid.
It's Cali That's why I don't live in California.
No, it's just it is everywhere, man. These politicians, like I even called the guy in South Carolina, a fucking idiot, just because these guys, they just need to go. All of them. Like, if you all think this shit's okay, I'm sorry, it's not. It's not okay.
No,
You guys are dumb as hell. But like,
no,
I'm not going to get started on the political shit
yeah,
because once I get going on this, I'll probably tell like all of them how I really feel about them, and we don't want that. We don't want that. But I might actually make my own episode by my damn self and then just give you an hour where I'm going off on all y'all. Okay.
yeah, hey, that'd be fun. I'd watch it.
There we go. But anyway,
Um,
I'm going to have you stay on. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. All right.
okay.
All right, everybody. We are going to tell Donald, thank you for coming on. We do appreciate it. And we will see him again, actually, when I go down to do the show in October, for sure.
Yes, thank you for
That's
having me.
a fun one. That's going to be a good one. It's going to be loud as hell, too, guys. Trust me. Anyway, we're going to say thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Until next time, we will see you. Have a good one.
Goodbye, y'all.
Bye.
It's time to strap our boots on. This is a perfect day to die. Wipe the blood out of our eyes. In this life there's no surrender, and there's nothing left for us to do. Find the strength to see this through. We are the ones who will never broken. With our final breath, we'll fight to the death. We are soldiers, we are soldiers. Whoa. To shoulder, we stand shoulder to shoulder. You can't erase us, you'll just have to face us. We stand shoulder to shoulder. We stand shoulder to shoulder. We stand shoulder to shoulder. You can't erase us, you'll just have to face us. Ones who will never be broken. With our final breath, we'll fight to the death. We are soldiers, we are soldiers. We are the ones who will not go unspoken. No, we will not sleep. We are not sheep. We are soldiers. We are soldiers.
She'd be singing out landslide while she's staring at the sunset oceanside, dreaming of the places she could go, wondering if there's more than what she knows, looking out for more life. Spread herself around now just for spite. Fate is never fair and life is rough. No amount of time could be enough. This town's no place for a fallen angel. Who are we to hold you down? Miss having you around. This town's no said billiards hall, taking all the money that he'd win to spend it all on bailing out a friend. Good husband and a new dad, gives a son all the things he never had, just when he could call his house a home. Another fallen angel's moving on. This town's no place for a fallen angel. Who are we to hold you down? We miss having you around. This town's no place for a fallen angel. Way down here, thy will be done. I'm sending all my love to Kingdom Come. Sending all my love to Kingdom Come. To Kingdom When it's all coming down, calling your fallen angels. When it's all coming down, calling your fallen angels. They'll be waiting when it's all in. I can feel them everywhere I've ever been. Fate is never fair and life is rough. It's gonna be a good time catching up.